Little murder. Little murder, little murder, little murder, little murder. You are many, many things. Many things. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for P Valley. This is season 2, episode 8. It was called The Death Drop. I said The Death Drop. I said, oh, okay. All right, whatever, we'll see. But going into this, it was a lot. It was a lot. A lot crammed in, and it was just one of those episodes where you kind of get to the end and you're like, damn, I want to be at the end already. But in this, I'll say this, Little Murder is a lot. He's a lot of things. Just many things. He's shy at times. He is loving and soft-hearted at times. He's quiet and standoffish at times. He's a little unsure of himself and learning himself, his sexuality. He's very unsure of himself at times, and then there's times when he's completely on top of it, no pun intended, on top of things and knows exactly what it is he wants and what he's trying to do. And then there's what we found in this episode, which we knew was there. The name Little Murder for a reason. He is vengeful and he is dangerous. He is dangerous. That is the part of, I think it's why I like him so much. He's quiet. He's quiet for a reason. He's not to be toyed with. He really is not. And it's different things that happen that unleash these things with him that we've seen. Each time there's something that goes on that unleashes one of those pieces of his personality. We got to see some vengeful stuff and some dangerous stuff with him, and his eyes, usually his eyes have purpose. They're a little dark tonight, a little dark. Anyway, we'll get all into it. Let's just start right here with, I'm going to start with Mercedes. Mercedes, she started the episode actually. She's having a problem. She's still having a problem with her shoulder. But did you all notice it's only really at the pank? She has some issues. There is some pain and different things going on, but it is extreme when she's at the pank. And Montavious, he's with her down there at the pank. The whole thing of it, the guilt and all of that, and her trying to process what's actually going on, that is bothering Mercedes. And it is really heightened when she's down at the pank. She was trying to work on the pole, and it was just like, girl, you coming across like an amateur. Really bad, it's really bad. When she was at the penthouse, there was, she was working through her routines and doing whatever she's doing, and she would have a little pain here and there, but nothing excruciating. When she's inside the pank, it just seems like everything is just modified by like 10. So I have no problem believing that that's the Montavious situation and all of the bad juju that's actually going on there in the pank. And there's a lot of bad juju inside the pank. Uncle Clifford seen her, and he told her, he said, you know what? No crying in the pank. Your little injury ain't in your shoulder. It's in your head. It's in your head. And she basically told him, and it's the same for you. A lot of your problems is on you as well. So they give themselves some eyes, and I'm looking at them, I said, okay, here we go. We got the team, honey, is back together. Because, the two of them. And he always said, I got my bottom bitch back. Right. Mercedes and Uncle Clifford are a fierce-ass team together. Apart, they still some bad ones, but together they are really unstoppable, and they really do serve as really good support for one another. So, like I said, hey, the family's back together. I'm happy about that. Anyway, so moving on here. let's talk about Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford and Little Murder. Now, on last week's episode, there was a little piece that I really didn't mess with. I didn't mess with it too much. And then I was going to do another video, but I didn't end up doing the video. I just read my comments. I read my comments and I held off. I held off because I wanted to see what was going to go on in this episode and if they were going to address it. The condom. The condom situation. Lil Murder decided not to use a condom when he allowed Uncle Clifford to top him in the last episode. And sure enough, I was right. And it has crept its way back into us talking again because now there are regrets, I believe, about that act. You know, once the deed is done, it's that, what have I done? Yeah, what have you done? And Uncle Clifford was cutting his hair and they're talking and she's like, well, where are you getting all dolled up like to go? And he's like, yeah, I just gotta go. Because naturally, he don't really want her to know that he has like these gang affiliations and stuff and selling a little drugs. And he don't want her to know all that. You know what I mean? Not deep in detail. The less she knows, the better off she is. And she's like, LaMarcus, you got a lot of little secrets and I ain't fixing to become one of them. And he's like, ain't nobody said nothing about that. You know what I mean? And it's not like that. You know, and then he starts talking about, you know, the use of no condom, and then they're going back and forth about these past experiences when he was on tour, and he's asking, I don't know where you been, you don't know where I've been, this, that, and the other. He like, I'm clean. She said that I'm clean, but it's just this back and forth. That's regret. That's regret. Where you all knew, y'all didn't have enough conversation, really. That, are you clean? Are you clean? That ain't enough conversation for you to be whipping off no condom and running raw dog around on nobody. That's just not. It really isn't. And there's a little bit of regret there. Don't say that he doesn't love Uncle Clifford, and it definitely doesn't say that she don't love him, but what have we done? What are we really doing here? I mean, we had amazing sex, but we still got a lot of stuff up in the air. We got unresolved issues. You know what I mean? And then you got the whole thing of Ernestine going on. So Uncle Clifford's on the edge anyway. He's calling the hospital. The hospital's not telling him anything. He's calling them. They're like, listen, you just called here 45 minutes ago. No news is good news. Yes and no. Yes and no. So we got that going on. And then guess what? Over in Mercedes Way, Maine is back out of jail and he's on house arrest. So he's back. So she's sitting around. You know, she is totally smitten with Maine. So I was like, oh boy, okay. So now we got to add Maine to the mix. Speaking of weird pairs, Keyshawn and Autumn meet up down at the restaurant. She done slid in. She got their birth certificates. She stole the birth certificates for her, the babies, and Autumn's getting them passports together. And I'm like, okay, so you're taking some of the steps that you need to take to get out of this situation. But then she always does something that makes me just want to just bang her because you can't get out of you won't get off the hamster wheel. You will not get yourself totally off of the hamster wheel, Keyshawn, no matter how bad it looks. And you're being battered and bruised more often. It's going to continue. It's going to be more often until he kills you. That's all it is. I hate to say it like that, but that is this. This is how this works. But you on the hamster wheel, you down here sneaking. You had to lie to him, talk about you want some kind of fries or some shit to get down here to her. You got to steal. You're stealing your own birth certificate and your kids' birth certificate to try to sneak and get passports for you and the kids. And then you're down here and you talk about, this is where we had our first date at. Get off of the hamster wheel, dumbass. Oh, I know it's easier said than done, but come on. Come on. You know, and these are the types of things where people try to rescue people from these situations and help people from these situations. They put themselves at risk because the person is they're scared, they're unsure, And then they change their mind, and then as sometimes the person is trying to help them becomes a target. You know, it just it's a lot. It's a lot. Anyway, so Autumn tells her, "Listen, we're gonna be opening back up the paint. You're gonna be the opening act." No, 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 no. I can't get about. This is how we're gonna do it. You're gonna be opening act. You're gonna make the money off the door. You're gonna get most of the money off the door, and you're gonna hit it. Now, where do you think about going? This fool says, "Oh, well, I was really thinking about going." She said, "Shut up." That's the first thing. You don't tell anybody where you're going. No one. No one. And she told her, she's like, "Oh, dang bad." She said, and this was told, not even me. She said, I looked up Haley and the phone. She said, it said that she drowned. And so she said, yeah, yet you're sitting here in Chuckalisa having coffee with her. I said, come through, Autumn, honey. But I hope you don't become a target in the midst of this fool. I got this sneaking suspicion. Keyshawn ain't going nowhere. Keyshawn not going to make it nowhere. I got a sneaking suspicion, just what I just told y'all. Through Keyshawn's bullshit and her scariness and her not being able to get off the hamster wheel, I got a sneaking suspicion that at some point, Keyshawn's missteps are going to turn Autumn into a target of Derek's, and Autumn going to take Derek up out of here. Oh, I definitely think Derek's going to be out of the story. But I just got this sneaking suspicion it's going to be Autumn that's going to take Derek up out of here. But, or will she fall into a situation where she got to pull a gun on Autumn the way she did on Diamond? I don't think it's going to happen. I think Autumn going to take him up out of here. Take him right up out of here. And I wouldn't be surprised if that idiot end up being mad at Autumn. But whatever. That's just on my soapbox. So I don't know. But that's just, Anyway, down off my soapbox. But boom, boom, bam, and I back. Come on, let's go. Andre, sitting there. Boom, here we go. I said, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Wayne, that put some of his money to work. And Wayne is coming for the competition. Andre is a liar. That's on the television. They had this whole commercial running. Puts Andre out there. His father's on death row. His mother was a crack-addicted individual. Like, wow. Corbin is pissed. He's like, I told you to give me everything. Tell me about all things that could actually show up. How this little thing get through. He's like, you know, are you proud of your father? He said, when I start using you to pay for my campaign, then you can question me about my father, Andre. I said, really? Pastor Woodbine was attacked as well. They told her, you know, they told all her stuff, but she actually came through and did a whole segment, baby. And she said, listen, she owned all her stuff. She said, yeah, I was hoeing. Yes, I've assaulted plenty of people, honey. And yes, I did check for her. But see, the lovely people who were running Chuckalisa when I was growing up, they made it very hard for me to be able to do anything and push me to do those things. But now I got Jesus. And he's going to lead me to get Chuckalisa out of all that wrongdoing. I said, girl, she know how to turn it around. She got that Bible and that talk, that church slick, honey. She know how to do it. And Corbin had nervous. Corbin, I was told. No, Corbin told Andre, at least she owned up to her stuff. I said, oh, Corbin. Anyway, while all that's going on over at Keyshawn's house, her and Derek is losing his shit. Derek, he's spending more and more out. Like I said, that's why he's beating on her more and more. He gets bought her these shoes. The shoes don't fit. She's like, Derek, this is too small. He's trying to put it on her. She's like, it's too small. He said, it's 7.5. She said, my feet have actually expanded due to having the 2 children, so they don't fit. Those don't fit. He's like, I can't do anything right. He banging on his head. I said, he losing his shit. Please, 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 no matter. Just don't give up on me. Don't give up on me. She used that opportunity to convince him to let her go back to the bank. And he's like, it's anything. He's like, you can go back online. You can go back on tour. He's like, she's like, the paint. He said, I don't like it. It's that place. That place. It's always something bad happening at the place. She said, but it's the only place that I feel free there. He's like, okay, okay, okay. I'll let you do it. So there we go. Part one to the stuff is done. We are good to go. Wayne and Corbin have this conversation. Child, Corbin and Wayne get to going back and forth. And he's saying, what about, like, he's like, why would you do this? This is all you. You've done this. You've done this. This is your doing. All of this slander and this mudslinging. He gonna say, what about, our family secret? He said, Corbin, you are the family secret. You're the family secret. Half black bastards or a dime a dozen down the Chuckalisa. That's not no big deal no more. It's not a big deal anymore. And he said, if all this falls out and the casino don't come here, it's all going to fall on your head. I was like, oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, that's that. Still between a rock and a hard place. Old Corbin wants to be equal. You are not equal to your brothers in your family's eyes. And nobody else's, really. You're not equal, baby. It just is what it is. Like you said, half black bastards is just it ain't no real big deal no more. But in the family, we see it as an issue. You're an issue. You're never going to be equal. And that's just all that's to it. Rather it be right or wrong. Moving on, speaking of right and wrong, Autumn and Georgina. Autumn goes down to the salon, and it's just this blatant racism thing. Autumn come in, red bottoms, clean, clean, clean. She roll up into the salon where Georgina's getting her hair done. And was, oh no, excuse me, dear, you in the wrong place, honey. What's she call her? Shaquans or Shaquanas or whatever. Her hair salon is down the way. She said, no, she's in the right place. And she told her, could you go back and let me and my gal pal have a conversation. Of course, Autumn didn't have the red hair, and she said, well, I really like the red hair on you, girl, but, the brown hair is nice. This, that, and the other, and they got to talking, and so she has made a deal of $5 million. And she said, I can have my people sit right over. She's like, no, you don't have them send nothing over until you send me a piece of paper that says $10 million. And she said, see, that's the thing. I like you, girl, because, a woman needs to know of her worth and her beauty, and you do. She said, but you also have to know when your worth and your beauty are declining. And she says, and I don't get it. I don't understand. They were trying to really throw you a little bit of nothing, and I've offered you $5 million. I mean, come on, girl. When you talk about reparations, well, there you go. I said, oh, bitch, no, you didn't, honey. No, you didn't, baby. Autumn, that little eyebrow went up. I said, girl, get her, honey. Get her. She told her, she says, listen, if you don't accept my $5 million offer, that's it, because I'm not going to make another offer. And if things don't go through, then it'll just be a mess. You have to wait for the elections. And who knows, because only one of us actually has the means by which to hold out. So if you walk out this door, that's it. My offer's going to be off the table. And she said, you know what that means? Baby, she turned around and she was going out the door. She said, yeah, I'll see you at the polls, Georgie. I said, not Georgie. But wait, and when she told, because Autumn don't play with her at all. When she told her, she said, I like you in the red hair. She said, I like your gray hair. I said, oh. She said, most people, they try to cover it up. I mean, why lie about who we are? I said, Autumn don't play with her and ain't thinking about her. I said, girl, that Autumn is too much, honey. Okay, so let's go to the funeral home. Let's stop over at the funeral home. We got Wody over there, him and Lil Murder. He got Big Teak together. Big Teak looking good and everything. Got all his little stuff. And here we have Lil Murder wanting to have this conversation with Wody, telling him, you can't just be taking lives. Like, nigga, you just can't take lives. He told me, he said, we all are God at some point, and we all are the devil at another point as well. And he told me, when he said, you can't just be taking people's lives. He said, you ain't tell Big Teak that, so don't come telling me that. I said, nah, you got a point. You got a point. And then they started talking about the tape. He says, yeah, I knew about the tape. And he's like, he's trying to blow it off. He's like, no, Keyshawn told me about it. I took care of it. He said, but what if there's another version? So then I'll go ahead and I'll take care of that too. I'll take care of it. And he said, I was 15. I had to do what I had to do to take care of my family and my mother, you know? And I'm like, oof, okay, so that's your story. So you basically sold yourself at 15? I'm like, wow. And I guess that, I don't know. I'm there. See, that's a whole open door for another discussion, because again, you were gay anyway, baby. That's not what made you gay. Again, that's that uneducated, real ghetto thing going on. That's not a good cop out. You were gay, you leaned on that, and you did what you had to do, but you don't have to screw Uncle Clifford. You didn't have to screw Teak. You do those things because you're gay, baby. You're gay. That's all. That's all. That's it. That's all. It ain't gonna get no deeper than that. All that other ghetto foolishness and all them cop outs, that's foolishness. But that's another part of the layers of our little murder. Anyway, um, he told me, he says, well, you're good at handling things, but what about me? He said, yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. I'll handle things, and one of us got to make it up out of the mud. Why not you? So, that Wody, honey. And he just, and Wody just really got that whole little evil thing. Did he always have that on him, or is it just me that now it's just like, I like it. Anyway, moving on. Don't judge me. Moving on. Autumn and Mercedes and Uncle Clifford. Lord have mercy. Okay, so they're sitting there. She ain't broken to them yet about this opening act situation. So, or the fact that Mississippi's coming back. So Autumn's picking. She's picking is what she's doing. She's picking, and she's like, show me your opening dance, Mercedes. Because, Uncle Clifford was like, yeah, baby, the people ain't ready, baby, for Sadie's coming through her new dance, baby. She said, show me your dance. Mercedes is like, what? She's like, show me your dance. She started dancing. She said, she ain't ready. She not ready. She ain't ready. Not do no opener. She ain't ready. Her shoulder, she said, you better shut up. You better shut up. She said, girl, you're not ready, honey. We opening in 2 weeks. You ain't ready. She turned around. She said, I know you don't think that roulette and whisper is great. But she said, girl, no, you don't need to be worrying about roulette and whisper at all. But who you would be needing to worry about is this one. And baby, Mississippi came back up. I said, oh, why you have to do it like that? Because now you're trying to put them at odds where it was always kind of a little thing, like love her like a little sister, but she always felt threatened by Mississippi, as she should. But anyway, Mississippi come rolling in, honey. And listen, whisper and roulette, that damn roulette gonna say, bitch, this is getting ready to be good. With that gum, I said, oh God. So they fangirling out, talking to me like, girl, we wear your lashes, and Whisper's like, girl, I want to be just like you when I grow up. This thing, and even Roulette is like, she's like, girl, you the reason you made a bitch think that they could even do this, girl. Brown skin, yeah, girl, yeah. And I was laughing at this cheetah print hair that Roulette had in this episode. Like, it was just so ghetto. It was so ghetto, but it was so right. It was so ghetto, but it was so right for her. I mean, it's something that's perfect for like a hair show or something. But yeah, she walk around the streets with this cheetah print hair. She is just that girl. She's that old hood ass girl all the time. I'm like, girl, yes. So it looked good on her though. It really looked good on her. But ghetto, oh honey. Anyway, so they fangirling out. Mississippi and Mercedes have a little moment there, and it's always that hardcore. It was a hardcore welcome back type of situation. She's like, is anybody using my old locker? She'll say, bitch, don't do me. Don't play. And your vanity's open too. It's always that hardcore sister thing. Girl, she got you. They was mad as hell at you about the diamond thing, but girl, they got you. They got you. And of course, in this episode, we see Diamond. Everybody know Diamond and Big Bone is together, child. They all up in each other's face. Child, Uncle Clifford was like, I didn't know nigga could smile. So that whole thing is going on. But yeah, she told her, she said, I never thought I'd be back here. She gonna say, yeah, I know. Ain't no place like home. I was like, okay, so the girls done bonded. They cool. So whatever Autumn was trying to do ain't working. You know, you can't push them against each other. Baby, they sisters. It is what it is. Mercedes gonna always have Mississippi's back. She be mad at the shit she do, but she gonna always have her back. Moving on. Uncle Clifford. At the same time, when Mississippi came back, him and Autumn had this big blow up. They screaming and hollering at each other, screaming and hollering at each other. He's like, let me just take some of my stuff out of here, bitch, because I don't want to try to take it all before you sell it all up from underneath me, you bitch. Said I take the damn the stereo system out of here, but I can't fit it in my Birkin bag. I said, oh, girl, she is so crazy. Uncle Clifford is so overdramatic. She get out there, she crying. Because she's got a lot on her. It's not just the Autumn stuff. The Autumn stuff with her is a constant. Okay? And then we got the stuff with Miss Ernestine going on. And he's kind of breaking down a little bit. And his mama show. She's so beautiful. His mother. She in the backseat, baby. She says, rule number 1. At first she said, who is it, baby? Who I got to beat up now, baby? And she back there, he looking at her in the rearview mirror. She back there, she said, number 1, rule for mama. Bitches don't just cry, they get even. I was like, shit, okay. Like, I want Uncle Clifford to love Autumn. And I don't mind him fighting back and forth with Autumn, but I want him to love Autumn the way he loves Mercedes, but it's not going to happen. It's not. He doesn't trust her. He really doesn't. And she doesn't really do to be trusted. But it's just the way things are. She has that whole mentality. You know, and that I gotta, you know, say dog eat dog. I gotta save myself thing. But she's not really trying to harm him, you know, but some of their values are different. Some of their values are different. Yeah, and I think she really does care for him. And he cares for her, but he's getting real sick of her shit. Anyway, so let's skip this. Let's go to Teek's funeral. I had the funeral, a really beautiful funeral. Like, cause you remember they was like, well, we're gonna just do unmarked. No, really beautiful funeral. And that damn little murder went and put some lyrics and had them rolled up like a joint, child, and stuck them in his hands in the casket and told him encase that hole get dark down there. You read these, and he put the little things in there. I said, oh my gosh. Shortly after that, we found out that Pico is all online talking shit with guns and talking about, yeah, that fool, this, that thing together, because nobody really knows the story of what actually happened. Nobody knows he committed suicide. And Pico's out there basically like claiming like he did it. And they was like, listen, told Little Murder, the little group, was like, he need to pay. You claiming bodies? You claiming you did this? And he ain't saying what really happened. You know, they were saying all these different stories of what supposedly happened. Nobody really knows. The only person who knows is him. Him and Uncle Clifford. So that's just kind of that. I was like, oh, God, okay. Now, here we go. Roulette and Whisper is sitting around talking. It's another little situation where we got Mercedes. They're up there practicing. This is where Autumn going to slide on in. That Mississippi's going to be the opening, okay? Roulette and Whisper sitting there. They like, child, look at her. How they look at her. This is what happens when you're too old, honey, and you don't want to leave. Look at her, child. She can't even help. Can't even hardly do it, honey. So look at her. It's like watching my grandmother trying to set up her Wi-Fi. I said, oh, these bitches. So John, Credit was letting Mercedes have it. I said, she will punch both of y'all in y'all's mouth, honey. Y'all need to stop. So, it was crazy. And at the same time, you got Roulette is trying to talk Whisper into. Remember old boy that she blew off? He's been contacting her trying to get Whisper on board so he could eat her box, child. And Whisper's like, I don't do that, but she wants this money. She said, girl, you need to get this extra money, girl. Just get this money. I mean, it ain't that big deal. So she talks her into it. She talks her into it. I was like, oh, jeez. She lead you down the dark hole. Then, in the midst of all that, Autumn's like, girl, you ain't ready. You're not ready. You're just not ready. You're not opening. That's it. Mercedes is like, what? She's like, yeah, mm-mm. But that was just Autumn being Autumn. She worked it through. She knew what she was going to do all along. And she just worked it out and just, yeah, shady. Anyway, Mercedes get a phone call. It's Terica. She's like, I'm coming. So she runs out, grab her stuff, she run out. She get down there to her house. It's Shell. Shell and Mercedes get to going at it. Shell fussing about her taking her to get the abortion. And all the time. You come through for her one time in 14 years. She's all that. All that. She like, yeah, but you got her driving you drunk and all this other stuff. And they get to arguing back and forth. And then Terica basically ends up choosing Shell's side, which definitely hurts Mercedes' feelings. And said, I'm just going to take her home and drive her. She said, no, you're not. She said, I know how to drive. And she go on and take her home. She went on back home with her. Again, can't let it go. Terica just can't let it go. I thought we was past this, but no, this was what happens, honey, when you're displaced. All that back and forth, over and over and over, back and forth, well, forth and back, honey. Anyway, Uncle Clifford goes up to see old Corbin, honey. She goes to see Corbin, and she's like, what are you doing? She's like, honey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, bitch. And he's just talking to him, and he's going on, and this, that, and the other. And Corbin says to him, do you know what it feels like to have the world turn its nose up to you? He said, yeah, half nigga. Yes, I do. They go back and forth, whatever. But he basically drops a hint to him. You do know it's easy to get Patrice out of the issue. Money. Just bribe her and get her out, knock her on out. I was like, oh, jeez, okay. So, that's that. I was like, Lord Clifford. So, he's flipping stuff around. So, it'll end up being straight up Andre versus his brother. And there's no more leeway in there for, Autumn, and maybe she'll mess up the whole deal. And for some reason, I guess he believes that if Andre wins, there won't be a casino. And then Andre wins, there'll be a casino. But for some reason, maybe he thinks that she won't sell the bank. I don't know. It's just stupid to me. But again, I knew it was going to be a thorn. It'll be a thorn in if Patrice gets out of the race. It's going to be a thorn in Autumn's side. It's going to shift things. And yeah, it'll kind of, she may not get the money that she's looking for. And I don't know why Uncle Clifford thinks she just won't sell. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's go on over here to this motel. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Say what? Okay, get over there. We got Roulette and Whisper. Whisper, we already know. Whisper is in touch with other stuff. And her intuition told her, leave this alone. Don't do this. Let this go. She ain't listen. First mistake. She tell her, girl, do this coke real fast, girl. Everything will be fine. All you got to do is lay back on your back, girl, and do that. Now listen, let me tell you. Roulette ain't never stopped being mad at the fact that Terrence wants to eat Whisper's box, but he wanted her to gobble his bird because she's brown-skinned girl. She ain't worthy for you to service her, but she high yellow, so you know what that gives, honey. It's a whole colorism situation, and she took it personal. As you should. Anyway, so she's still mad with that. They get there, and he's sitting there. He gonna say, "What? Oh, I don't know if I really want to do the two thing, like the two." She's like, "This ain't no 2 for 1. Are you crazy?" I'm here to make sure you don't try to pull no shit. If I ain't staying, you ain't staying. So she goes in the bathroom, play Candy Crush while they in there doing their stuff. The show already told her, girl, just go ahead and do what you do and, you know, do what you do, Joe. So, of course, she goes, she lays there, she fakes it on him, honey. And then when they get done, he gets up and in true nigga fashion, he gonna take the money and throw it on the floor. There you go. Ignorant and disrespectful. And she goes and she's picking up the money. Whisper's picking up the money, and it's short. It's short. And he's going back and forth talking smart, talking about you ain't even moan right, and this, that, and the other, and on and on and on and on and on. And she told him, at this point, old girl comes out the bathroom. Roulette comes out the bathroom. She's like, what is going on? She's like, he's short. He's short by like 200. And she's like, don't play. What is that about? And she says, see, I knew when you came in here, I could feel the energy off of you where you were a man that has never pleasured a woman properly. I knew it. Honey, that thing took and grabbed Whisper and choked her. And I said, oh, girl, you done hit him in his feelings. And choked her ass to no not one, honey. Baby, that roulette put a gun to his head. Bye, y'all. And told him, oh, let her go. He let her go. She coughing. She said, no, let's play one of my favorite games. And he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, roulette. There's one bullet in here, but I'll never know where the click is at. And he like, you bluffing. She put it to her head and clicks it. And Whisper's like, no, 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 no. So they going on, they going back and forth. And she's telling him, you know, boy, please, I got a good relationship with Death. Do you? He's still talking smack. She click it up against his head, and they're like, girl, stop, stop, stop. And she going on, and she said, strip him down. Strip him down. Strip him down. They took his clothes, took his shoes, took his car. He says to them, I'm going to get you bitches. She's like, yeah, we like to see you try. We all know. Give it 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks, we're going to have another murder night down there to the Pank. He going to come down to the Pank and show out. Just watch. He's going to bring his black behind down there to that Pank and carry on. But they got him. They got him, honey. But see, the thing is, she ignored him. She not ignored him, but she embarrassed him really bad because before they actually, they headed out and left, she had the gun to his head, honey, and then she took it and put the gun in his mouth and told him, I want you to tell my girlfriend how you wanted her to moan. How is it that she was supposed to moan? And he moaned a little bit. She gonna take the gun and push it in his mouth and grab the back of his head and tell him and say, who got the dick sucking lips now? I said, oh, girl, violated him, completely violated him. Maybe he's mad. I said, oh yeah, he's gonna be furious, honey. That's gonna follow them to the Pank. Already know it. And if that wasn't bad enough, the damn girl took his car and took it to the chop shop, honey, down there with that doggone Duffy, honey, and told him, you know, get rid of it, honey, and you know, fix it up. And then he said, where you want me to deliver this stuff? She gonna say, down in the valley. You know the rest. I said, girl, she's a mess. She is a mess. She is a mess. You hear me? Meanwhile, all while this stuff is going on, we got Andre and Autumn. She went over his house. He got this $10,000 check from Autumn. Okay? And of course, it's actually in the whole Lakeisha name. Okay? And here it was. The check was actually for the sex that they had. She paid him like a common whore. And they're having their conversation. She's telling him basically, don't really worry about what's, you know, going on, what happened and everything, you know, not being proud of who your parents were. It just is what it is. I wish I even knew my parents. Come found out she's a foster. You know, she was a foster child. She never was able to get her records and find her actual parents. She don't know where she came from. So she's telling me, you know, it's not bad. You know, they ain't got the best past, but that's okay. You had them. You know who they are. And he's like, the dream is over. She's like, you're a punk. Why are you being such a punk? You going to let these white boys take your dream away? Are you serious? And she's like going there with him, and he's like, yeah. He said, that the sex that they had was not like any sex that he had ever had. This, that, and she said, you want to do it again? And he's like, well, see, I liked it, but I woke up disappointed because I liked being with Lakeisha, but I wanted to wake up to Haley. And she's like, I can't give you that. Then she said, wait a minute, hold on. I know what we're going to do. I know exactly what we're going to do. And she made a phone call calling somebody. I don't know what that is. I guess we'll find out in the next episode exactly what she's calling upon. But she got an idea to try to turn this whole thing around with Andre. I said, okay. And that's it. They left that out right there. So I guess we'll get the rest of that on the next episode. I don't know what the hell Autumn got up her sleeve. But can't hurt. Can't hurt because he just, he's ready to give it all up. Moving on. Little Murder. Okay, this is what I tell y'all about Little Murder, where we see something new about our Little Murder, honey. Our Little Murder goes and rolls up on Pico, baby. Roll right up out of the dark, honey, up out of the shadows, and told him, oh, so you claiming to be God, but you ain't. But you ain't. He's like, oh, no. He went to apologize, backpedal, and pussy popping. I didn't do it. I ain't touched that man. I swear I didn't. This, that, and the other. He's telling him, my mama. I ain't did nothing. He said, people was just riding me since he beat my ass that when y'all was on tour and all that. And I was just popping shit. He said, mm-mm. He said, okay. He said, my mama. He said, I got a baby on the way. And then I got my son. He said, yeah. His name is Tyson, right? He gonna say, yeah, his name's Tyson. He said, I'll tell him that his daddy loved him. And filled his ass full of lead, honey. I said, oh, Little Murder. Little Murder. And it was so cold. It was so cold. And so vengeful. I was like, oh my gosh. Just took him out, girl. Took him out. And that's why I said this is that part of him we see with that vengeance. And then the coldness of it was so opposite what he usually is. He didn't even flinch. So, yeah, he's dangerous. He's dangerous because to be able to flip over from all that quiet and all that nice and all that caring and loving and wanting to take care of people to that's dangerous. That's dangerous. I said, okay. Mercedes is over there with Maine at his little block party they give, and they found out about Pico. They get ready to all run off. And she pulls Maine and tell him, you just got out. Like, you're not getting into that. Let them take care of that. Them two end up having a conversation. And she didn't go into all the details, but she told him, when there was 4 of us went in there, I knew only 3 of us was going to come out, and all that. And he's like, I really wish I could have been there for you. And she says, do the guilt and the nightmares and that doesn't stop. He told her, no, it doesn't ever stop. She said, well, what do you do with that? And he's like, you make a difference in someone else's life. And told her, then you hope that God basically cancels it out when you go to the gates, honey. And he said, maybe I could be that one to make a change in your life. And he's trying to get some sex going with her. And she's like, no, man, that's not what I'm looking for. Like, I'm not, I ain't hot right now for you. I'm all messed up. And that ain't what I'm looking for right now. So that was a whole big old mess. He's like, well, I hope you found what you're looking for. And then he goes, I'm like, well, man, what is that all about? But I guess he just ghetto. He ain't even equipped to give her what she needs. So, get out the way, man. Anyway, moving on. Uncle Clifford went up to his mother's grave. And that's where he's talking to his mother. And he said, I know I'm supposed to come up here more than I'm supposed, like I was. He's like, I swear I will come up here every week like I'm supposed to. But I didn't want to come because I don't want to let you know that I'm failing at this. I am failing. And he's like, I miss you so much, Mama. And I just don't want to be in a position where I have to be missing Ernestine too. So he's trying to give God a heads up, honey, to just let her be okay. Child. It was sad. It was really sad. Really sad. I think it did him some good as well, but very, very sad to see him talk to his mama like that. But anyway. Let's go over to the church, honey. Miss Patrice Woodbine, Pastor Patrice Woodbine. She's over there doing her thing, honey, and she's doing a live broadcast, honey. She talking the money out of the people's pockets, honey. Yes, and God said, and so forth and so on. And she talking the money out their pocket, a little at a time, baby. And then she's like, oh, $100 from Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, thank you. This, that, thing, and the other, on and on and on. And then the lady said, oh, she said, oh. $10,000. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Why don't you go to carrying on? I said, girl, she a mess. She a mess. So it's just $10,000, and it's just anonymous, but there's a message attached to it when she gets off. And the message said, meet me outside. How about that? She going outside. It's Corbin. It's Corbin. And Corbin, she told him, she was like, what is it that you want to talk to me about? She said, As he said something to her, she said, listen here. She said, listen here. You light-skinned trickster. I said, she didn't. She said, these streets know my needs. And these people, they know my sins, but they also know my heart. And they know that I got the good Lord on my side, and I'm here to help them. And Chucklee said, I said, girl, she go. That thing told her, please, I already dropped that $10,000 on you, that pledge, honey. And I got plenty more of that where it comes from. Honey, and he gave her a bag of money, baby. And she's standing there. I said, look at her, honey. Look at the devil, honey. She's standing there like, oh. He told her, I need you to drop out, honey. And she's sitting up there, honey. I said, girl, I don't know what Patrice going to do, but honey, she was sitting there giving, honey, that's right. I'm pleased to meet you. Still want to tell you my name. I said, look at her, girl. Look at the devil's music dancing in her head, honey, while she got on her church outfit, her church shoes, honey. That Patrice is the demon, honey. I said, she a best. Anyway, last thing, my little murder. I told y'all, something done clicked and something done switched, honey. He in the recording booth. Ready, he's telling the band to drop the beat. And you see, he got blood splat on his ring and on his hand. And he's ready to lay these bars for this track. And I'm like, what done clicked? No murder. What we got to do to get you back over to the other side? 'Cause I think you kind of stuck. And his eyes just was so, yeah, something done clicked. And he's on that dangerous side. We need him off from over there. We need him off from over there. So that's where we were. That's where we ended up. Yeah. I don't know, you all. This is episode 8. We only got 2 more episodes to go. I think these last 2 coming are going to be jam-packed. I literally had 3 pages of notes on this last episode. There was just so much little nuances going on. I'm like, oh, they are jamming them. Katori and Patrick, y'all, ooh, just jamming them with stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, listen, I am so here for it. I'm mad we only got 2 more episodes left. What I'm going to do? What I'm going to do? Anyway, listen, P-Valley, y'all know I love it. I love it. And I will talk to you all next week. Later, you guys.